Hey guys, on the trail once again, kind of warming up today, which is good. Just wanted to talk about my Patreon account as well on this video and some other stuff. If you guys want me to do exclusive videos that you can only get on Patreon, being a Patreon member, let me know. And that would only cost you, the bare minimum you have to charge is $1. So $1 a month to help support me, get some extra content for yourself. I have in there, if you are a donator, you'll be put in on the credits. If you donate a certain amount, I think it's like $5 or something a month. But on top of that, you're getting me for free on YouTube for, 30 days, 31 depending on the month. You're getting all my content. So it's pretty cheap, guys, and you're supporting me, and that money can go towards finding land or whatever. If you want to tell me to use it for something else, let me know. But how you do it is you sign up for Patreon. It'll give you a how-to wizard to go from there. And I'm sure you guys can figure out the rest. And then survival stoves. I won't be able to, once I get back from my trip, I'll be able to take a few days and probably go through all the comments and stuff that I've missed for 2 weeks on the YouTube channel and on Facebook, and then I will be able to catch up on that, start editing and releasing my vacation videos, and hopefully I'll have enough time to do all that I don't miss a day of content for you guys. So we'll see, but just wanted to put that out because YouTube has I guess severely tightened their wallets, but whatever, there's always other choices. And I've been slow for work, but this is usual for me around this time. Actually, I'm gonna call it dead, not slow. Because we haven't had too much work since just before Christmas. But this is normal for my type of work. People don't have any money now because they blew their wad on Christmas gifts and are now getting huge debt because they're not smart enough to prepare throughout the coming year for Christmas and not put everything on credit cards. So that's the deal with that. Yeah, the river is frozen and it is very thin ice. I would never walk on that. Horrendous. But yeah, so I'm on my last lap of the journey here. This is the third lap. So 3 miles today, guys, which is pretty decent in this cold, I think. And the survival stove burn test, I will do a repeat video of that when I get time, when I get a good day, and when I get not soaked lumber. So stay tuned for that. And depending on the comments that I look through and receive on what you guys think of the stove, I will either scrap that prototype and go for smaller or bigger or whatever. In the comments, you guys will tell me what you think. So yeah, that covers all that stuff. Goals. A lot of people ask me, what am I going to do when I get the land? I kind of covered that in my last video on the trail. which was move the tiny house in place, put skirting on, put rain gutters on for plumbing into the IBC totes so I can capture rainwater and filter it, of course. It'll incorporate the first flush system that I have bought. I already have the gutter screens bought, just need the actual gutters and to put those in place. And then I can also put up the solar panels, get my batteries going, have electricity in the tiny house full time, and then also purchase a generator to go under the tiny house, hidden by the skirting, and I will lock that down to the tiny house legs. And if you guys remember, I put a hole in the floor of the tiny house. It's next to the left side of the entrance door. I don't show it too much because it's under the gray mat when I enter the tiny house. So that's where I leave my shoes and stuff so mud doesn't get everywhere. So there's a hole there that I foamed in because originally I was going to put the kitchen on that end of the tiny house where my bed is now, way back in my early videos, if you guys want to check those out. And I can literally, if I get a wood stove, a wood stove, and it's like a 2-inch hole going through the floor. It's already there. I just spray foamed it in to seal it because it wasn't in use. I can remove the foam, run an extension cord up from underneath the tiny house, plug that into the generator. That will battery tender recharge my solar batteries in the winter, help with that. And then also use that hole to bring fresh air in from under this tiny house to the wood stove to burn. So it's burning air from outdoors, and it's not suffocating me in the tiny house. And the propane fireplace, which is already doing that, it's not suffocating me, but it's a 2-pipe system. My hands are freezing. Jeez. 2-pipe direct vent, so it's taking air from outside for the burn. So no worries there, guys. But people are going to say, well, you just insulated with radiant barrier. Why are you thinking about a wood stove? Well, I like to have backups, guys. Some of you know I'm into prepping. So having a wood stove is kind of important in that field. If something happens to the grid and I can't get propane anymore, that means I have no heat in the tiny house. So if I have a backup wood stove in there, I can have heat, I can have hot showers, because the aqua cube, I can just put a bucket of water onto the wood stove, a metal bucket of course, put the pump in there, and take the hot water produced from the wood stove for my shower or cleaning or whatever. So, and that way I can still boil stuff, cook stuff, filter water by boiling, etc. It's a good idea to have a backup. Now, you said you heard me complain about lack of firewood in this area that I'm in Canada. Yeah, big time. I'm surrounded by farmland, basically. Everything's been clear cut. There's no bush. Very little. But I do have an abundance of free pallets from Pierre and other sources. So I can always do that. And the wood stove I'm thinking about getting actually is the Grizzly wood stove. And I'll talk about that later. But it's made in Canada, and they're a little pricey but I like the look of them. They don't take a lot of firewood, and they'll do 400 square feet, which is my tiny house. And they run for about only 2 hours, but if I can rig something up to fix that, improve that, I will. But with all the extra insulation, radiant barrier planned for the rest of the tiny house, I don't think I'll have to worry about a 2-hour burn, because it will keep the heat in. And then also, we got lots of traffic coming up here. Also, what I plan to do with the wood stove is High Tech Guy 18, Stu. He's been helping me discover all kinds of new stuff, and there's something called a tag, which I did a brief post about in a paint drawing on one of my videos, Future of the Tiny House or something. Got people driving in circles here. I don't know what the hell that's about, but yeah, so it's called the tag, and it is a little pricey. It's about 800 bucks American. It's a thermoelectric generator, and what it does is it sits on your wood stove or a heat source, whatever that may be, most likely wood stove. But for the grizzly, if I go with that, see, this is kind of the downer that I'm facing. If I go for a bigger wood stove, I'll be able to run the thermoelectric generator longer. Before I keep talking about that, I'll tell you what it actually does. So it sits on a heat source. There's an inlet and outlet for plumbing, for water or glycol. And what you do is you circulate in a closed loop the liquid that's in the plumbing. So what you want to do is you're removing heat from the thermoelectric generator by pushing it via a in the loop circulation pump, which just moves the liquid around. So it's pushing the liquid past the thermoelectric generator that's sitting on the wood stove, and then after that it pushes that heat away from the thermoelectric generator so it can continue to function efficiently. And you can use that heat, depending on where you plumbed it, to plumb it into some radiators, or in-floor heating or heating water. And then you want to, after taking all the heat out of that liquid as much as you can, plumb it back to the circ pump, which is then pushing past the thermoelectric generator in a closed loop, round and round and round, it goes forever. Now, that's not all what this thing does. Thermoelectric generator, that's just how you have to set it up for it to function properly. The thermoelectric generator produces 12 volt DC power at 100 watts, which means even at nighttime, when I have no solar power, or wind power for that matter, I have power being put into the batteries via this thermoelectric generator. Now, whether I gotta pipe this into a charge controller or not, I'm sure Stu will tell me, either my PWM or the MPPT. We'll find out. But hold on. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Lots of traffic, lots of people. Some guy jogging out in this weather. Only person I've seen out walking. Figure that one out. But anyway, back to the thermoelectric generator. This thing, as long as you're producing heat and moving the heat away from the thermoelectric generator via a pump of some kind, could be 12 volt, this thing will produce power for you. So if you get a pretty efficient 12 volt circ pump, you'll be getting at least, the pump's going to take a little bit, so you're going to be getting, what, 80 watts being pumped into your battery bank overnight. Not a generator, not burning gasoline, but turning your wood stove into a power plant, a small power plant, and heating your house, and possibly heating water. Where it all depends where you plumb your plumbing for the tag, the thermoelectric generator. You can look them up online, guys, but I'm pretty interested in that. And like I said, if I was to do things over again with the tiny house, I've learned a lot of lessons, and I would have did in-floor heating incorporated with the tag, using some glycol and water mix so nothing freezes, and that way, you know, you have a decent way to produce power. I gotta shut the camera off again. Got it. The public seems to be out and about hardcore right now, so I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back at the house. Sorry about that. So I was talking about the thermoelectric generator out there. I think that's a really good idea, because you're basically turning something you're already using into more usable stuff, so more efficient. So you're able to, if you have a wood stove and you have cold spots around your house, you can plumb the tag into rads in those cold areas, and they will now become more evenly heated. And then you're also producing power, like I said. So I know in the winters we get here, it's pretty horrendous on overcast all the time type of situations. So not good. So having the ability to get power and in multiple ways, generator, the thermoelectric generator, whatever, that's a good thing. Now the thermoelectric generator, I'm not sure how long they last. I'm sure if you don't abuse them, they'll last a very long time. But let's say in a prepping situation, SHTF, there's no more gasoline or diesel, but you can still make power at nighttime in the winter as long as you have a heat source. So as long as you're chopping firewood and throwing it in your stove, you're actually heating your house, you're cooking on it, you're getting electricity from it, and that's pretty, isn't that the definition of efficiency? Multi-use, usable stuff. So I just want to end the video there then, guys. I'll stick these two together and put them up for you. Just some of the ideas I'm thinking about doing, and my face is probably beet red, my cheeks anyway, from the walk, but it was a nice walk. We got to talk to you guys a bit, relaxing, you know, you gotta love it. So that's it for this video, guys, and we'll see you on the other one. Thanks.